Kirwan's Game Store, the best place in gaming.
Welcome to round 6, the final round of the Regional Pro Tour Qualifier at Kirwan's Game Store. We have Austin Manziel and Green White Devotion.
And we have Max Brown playing Bant Midrange. This is actually going to be table 3. Tables 1 and 2 both elected to draw, as you would imagine. So we were lucky enough to, I think, see both of these people on camera. Max Brown, definitely.
We had Max on camera?
We did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we've had both of these guys on camera. The Green White Devotion deck was beaten by our good friend Dan Ward on the Black Red Dragons on a very crazy Colgan the Storm's Fury draw. And Max Brown was hastily defeated by a mono red player with a 1-land Sylvan Caryatid hand that he never found another land.
So hopefully we will be not seeing that. And they have their 7 and they're deciding if they would like to keep.
So Max's hand looks fairly land heavy. We're looking like 4 lands, 3 spells. I think I see a Courser of Krufix, a Dramoka's Command. I either think this is going to be a pretty good matchup, actually.
Yeah,
Max,
I see this going well,
yeah,
yes.
Max has some answers to enchantments. He's got his own coursers and stuff. So we're in for a round here for sure.
Alright, and there is the typical turn 2 Sylvan Caryatid. Looks like he's just choosing which to deploy right now. That'll be a Yavimea Coast.
And he's going to Caryatid right back.
Exactly. He said, I see your Caryatid, I raise you a Caryatid.
Max's mana looks a little bit better as well. He's got 2 of his 3 colors, where Austin finds his second. He's going to fetch and go hopefully for plains. And he's going to play Serac.
Serac. He's sipping on that Serac.
That is quite the card to follow the Sylvan Caryatid with. It doesn't even look like Max has many things to deal with that either.
In general, in his deck, he has a Valor stance. That's pretty much it.
There's probably a few creatures that he can find.
Definitely, yeah. He can find like a Deathness
Raptor.
Obviously has
But
that Death Touch.
I think right now what he needs to do is probably get a Courser on the floor and start really looking at the top card of his library.
Absolutely.
It looks like he's going to go for a land drop.
Interesting. Which means he's probably not deploying the Courser as we imagined. So that windswept heath will bring him down to 19 as well, and they have matching life totals. He grabs a plains with that. He's got some white bordered cards.
I really enjoy the white border basic lands in Standard right now because with the fetch lands, it just makes them 110% easier to find.
I don't know if I'd ever play white bordered lands in my life.
I enjoy them because I can just spread my whole deck out, see the single 2 or 3 white border lands, pick them out, and throw them onto the floor.
Yeah, definitely.
It makes them easier to find.
Alright, so my question is, some people in Legacy will white out their borders.
It really depends, I think, on what kind of lands you're doing this to. Like, if you're doing this to like some really nice lands, I don't think that's where you want to be.
No, it's just not what you want to do with your life. I like the plains and the forests are okay, but I wish they were both unglued.
He's gonna follow up a Serac attack with a Morph and an Elvish Mystic.
So he's filling up his board quite nicely. And it looks as though...
He's going to go with a Dramoka's Command.
Yes. He will fight and put a +1/+1 counter on that Fleece main line. It looks like that was a Rattleclaw Mystic. Interesting there, he chose to fight and he killed off a Rattleclaw Mystic, which really wasn't that big of a deal, but he had to do that in case it was something a lot more nefarious than a Rattleclaw Mystic.
So I also like the fact that if Max hits an untapped land here, it looks like he has a forest, he can monstrous the Fleece main line right
Absolutely,
here as well,
yeah.
which looks like he's going to do that. So the Fleece lane monstrous there is really, really powerful because it shuts off Serac. You can't profitably attack into the line anymore.
Absolutely. I mean, Fleecemane, when you're doing things on the ground, it's a really, really good card because of that monstrous stability.
Mm-hmm. Austin's just going to try to develop his mana a little bit more, hoping for some really big threats, and, you know, he's got a good Nykthos activation if he goes for it, too.
That's very true.
It's like a Courser of Krufix is going to come down. So if Max finds a land on top, which he does, Flooded Strand, which is a good one, too.
That is a
short
very
on a
good
couple
one.
islands.
It's also good because he can, of course, choose to keep it on top, or it almost acts like a Scryland with Courser in play.
Mm-hmm.
He can choose, if he doesn't want what ends up being the top of the deck that's revealed with Courser, he can just crack his fetch.
He's going to go for a Plains here. I'm not sure about what's in his hand, so I can't say to what land he should fetch for, but with the Courser on floor, he doesn't have to worry about losing the life anymore, and he can really start filtering through his deck, which is nice. It's definitely going to put Max at a bit of an advantage, more so than he was at already, because Austin's at the mercy of his top deck, where Max is the mercy of the top 2 cards. So, you know, an extra card per turn is definitely going to be good.
Absolutely. This is also where you really get to see Courser shine, I believe, is going to be here, where it's going to start getting Max through his deck. Whereas Austin, you can see, does not have one, and he's just kind of like at the will of his own deck, what's on the top.
Mm-hmm. You know, and it looks like he drew a decent card. It looked like Sirach, but I couldn't really tell all that well. Mm-hmm. And, you know, at that point in time, like, another Sirach's definitely not where you want to be.
No.
It's a Polukranos.
That's pretty good.
That's actually really good, because that's a hasty Polukranos. But, again, with the 5/5 Fleecemane Lion, indestructible.
Exactly.
You can't just send that into that.
You cannot. He can activate Nykthos for quite a bit of mana.
7.
So that is available to him, but that's not really going to do anything.
He's got access to 8 total mana with the other carry to tap.
Mm-hmm.
So he's definitely got some mana on the floor, but I don't think it's enough. Max is going to go for another Courser of Krufix. Going to gain 2 off of a Flooded Strand. The power of gaining 2 life off of Courser of Krufix with lands is very, very strong.
Max, liking what he sees, is going to opt not to crack that fetch land.
He's going to keep the Tremoka's Command on top. Tremoka's Command,
pretty
it's
good.
going to be really good. The +1/+1 fight mode is going to be really, really advantageous to him, I think. Be able to get the Polukranos off the floor.
Paul, we haven't said exactly who drew into top 8. The people who did draw, it would be Dan Ward, and I'm not sure who the other people are.
Yeah.
But we're just waiting to have it finalized before we say for sure. So back to the game.
The Den Protector on top of Max's deck, which will be really, really good as well. Max just counting up the devotion and exactly how much mana he can get out of Nykthos. He's got all his mana open too, so the Dromoka's Command's a little... It's preemptive to fire it off now. But I'm curious as to how much he can exactly get too. We can get up to 12 mana.
It's a lot of mana. He's probably waiting. To see if he's gonna.
Ooh,
Here we go.
Monstrous
So
of
now
the Fleece
he's kind
Lion.
of. He's sitting here. He's pushing Austin to act.
He's definitely trying to force the hand right now. So Austin looks like he's floating 7 mana. I was wrong, it's 13 mana. So he taps completely out all of it. It's like he's gonna put a monstrous trigger on the stack for Polukranos. It's like he's gonna target the Fleecemane Lion, and Max is gonna go Dromoka's Command, get a counter, fight a Polukranos, That monstrous is going away.
It's definitely very hard there. You have to assume that Max has a play to follow up when you try to monstrous your Pelugrinos, or else he wouldn't monstrous. He would just wait with the Fleeceman, especially because he's already head on board. But you're kind of priced into it anyways, because if you don't monstrous Pelugrinos, you're losing anyways. So.
Yeah.
It kind of was one of those, like, not good either way, damned if you do, damned if you don't situation for Austin.
Yep, and that's a Den Protector draw for Max, and a Mastery of the Unseen on top of his library.
Well, that was definitely the card you want to see after you just put a Morph on the battlefield,
This
right?
is 100% true.
He does have a Pelukrinos, so he can activate it if he wants, forcing him to flip up the Den Protector. And if he doesn't want him to gain a life, like have the ability to play the Mastery of the Unseen and gain a life. So that might be what I do, depending on. I don't know. I also can't see what's in Austin's hand. Is in Austin's hand.
Looks like he got 2 cards in hand. I'm not quite sure what he's drawing.
It looks like a Windswept Teeth. Is one
Windswept
of the
Teeth
cards I
and
can see.
Maybe a Mastery of the Unseen. But at this point, Mastery of the Unseen's definitely not as powerful as it could be, because he's got the Den Protector, flip it up, get back Dromoka's command, sacrifice an enchantment, puts him right back to square one.
Yes. That is maybe a benefit to trying to monstrous the Pelukrinos to force him to flip up the Den Protector, because Austin doesn't have a Courser in play. He isn't. He doesn't know that Austin would have the Mastery of the Unseen, which would probably, he might not take back Dromoka's command. There's a chance. Oh, I keep calling Serac Pelukrinos. My apologies for that. That's Serac.
There it is, the Mastery of the Unseen.
Definitely could not tell with the glare there. So that is what it is. It looks like he's just moving his mana creatures to the side.
He's trying to figure out how much he can get out of Mastery of the Unseen.
Right.
Ooh, he's not gonna do anything with it yet. Max is gonna draw his own Mastery, find a Forest on the top. He's gonna play the Forest. He's gonna gain 2 life.
Yes.
He's going to resolve his Mastery of the Unseen. So this is the point where Max is much, much further ahead than Austin.
Yeah.
They both have Mastery of the Unseens, but Max has an answer to Mastery of the Unseen, and he's got 2 monstrous Fleeceman Lions.
Yeah. I don't know a way that Austin's deck can deal with a monstrous Fleeceman Lion.
I think the best way is to be able to just utilize the Mastery of the Unseen
Right,
and keep
just try
creating
to
chump blockers.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
then,
luckily, the good thing for Austin is that Fleeceman does not get trample, so
yeah.
he can
But
keep making those.
I think what's going to end up happening is Max is going to flip up the Den Protector, get back a Dromoka's command, and then he's going to stop the second Manifest token.
Absolutely.
And he's going to gain 8 life. 7 life.
That's pretty insane.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard anything about the Green-White Devotion mirror matches.
Where they
happened a
like
while
go
ago.
into like 100 life.
It was actually 400 life
Oh my
apiece, and they never even finished game 1.
That sounds miserable. I'm sorry. That does. That really does.
So, okay, so he's gonna go with sack an enchantment, and he's gonna fight with one of his creatures to the Serac, I guess.
That's probably the scariest card
Yeah.
on Austin's side, so that makes 100% sense.
The
And it
2
also
best
gets
cards
the
for
2
sure.
best cards because it gets rid of the Mastery as well.
The value from just flipping up the Den Protector, getting a 2-for-1 off the card that you got. That's a 3-for-1 for Max.
It really is.
He still has 2 manifests and a morph though, and like knowing the cards that are in Austin's lists, they could be some really good cards.
They could.
You know, we've got Whisperwood Elementals, we've got Death Mist Raptors, which, you know, if he finds a Death Mist Raptor, this is a pretty different game.
It looks like he's...
But I just think Max is too far ahead right now.
Yeah, I can't imagine a place in which he comes back. He's just gotten so much card advantage. Like, Den Protector has been absolutely insane.
Yes, it's been a very, very good card all day for everyone who's
Yes,
played
for
it.
everyone who's played it. Even when you don't have the Gruesome Tooth with the Death Mist Raptor, even when you're just flipping it up for value,
Yep.
I guess you can play a 5-mana.
There is a Death Mist Raptor right there. So if either of the Manifest tokens that Austin has on his side, if they're creatures, then, you know, we got Death Mist Raptor
yeah.
recursion.
Absolutely. It looks like they're just giving, that's the first morph, or manifest, and that's the second.
Okay.
So just so we know to keep, you know, and to keep track of everything.
Mhm.
Alright. He builds another Fleeceman Lion.
Ooh, Sylvan Caryatid. So there it is.
Flip that?
He's able to
Yep.
flip that up, and he's able to
Get back
recur his
that
Death Mist Raptor. Which, if he can find another way to start doing that, that's actually a way you can chump block these Fleeceman Lions.
That's true. Just keep trying to recur them.
The problem is I really don't think that Austin has a way to win the game through these monstrous Fleeceman Lions.
I don't think so either. It's just kind of a delay in the
Yeah.
inevitable.
And Max with his own Mastery of the Unseen on the floor, like, and he's got 4 mana open to be able to manifest this Fleeceman Lion, and then flip the Fleeceman Lion up and gain life from it.
Yeah, absolutely. It is looking relatively grim here. That was a courser, so that...
Hey guys, we're back streaming live again. We had some technical difficulties where it stopped streaming live to Twitch. We have brought it back, and
But don't worry, we got you. So, Max Brown just drew a Dragon Lord Ojutai, and on the top of his deck is a Stratus Dancer. So, one of our 2 favorite cards of the day have made their appearance. So we will see how much they can affect this game.
just gonna talking to the judges upstairs, try to get an accurate life total count and see what's really going on here. This actually is somewhat of a testament to almost the green-white mirror match in the fact that it's really hard for both of these players to really actually finish the game.
To break through, exactly. The Fleeceman Lions here definitely being very good for Max Brown.
Very good. I don't know where Max's deck... Oh, he's shuffling. Okay.
Yes.
That is an Elvish Mystic on the top of Max's deck. Not the best draw, but you have Mastery of the Unseen. You can make that into a 2/2.
That's a land. You'll be able to play that right off the top with 2 forces in play. Is not bad. With very little removal in both of the decks and very little way to break through anything that's on the ground, it kind of becomes a slugfest.
Stratus Dancer actually has
It does have
flying as
flying,
well.
yeah.
So if he
We'll be
flips that up
excited.
and
And
attacks
Dragon
with
Lord
Ojutai,
Ojutai, of course, yeah.
That's actually game because those 2 total out to 8
Absolutely,
damage.
yeah.
Max is going to come through with the indestructible Fleeceman Lions naturally. And
Alright.
we're going to see some chump blocks.
We will. Looks like he did reveal that. It looks like an Elvish Mystic to me up there.
It is. I'm curious as to why he blocked with the Deathness Raptor. He's probably got a real morph creature under one of those. Under the morph.
Definitely, especially because he could have blocked with the Deathness Raptor, have it die, not block with something else, and then flip the thing back. Yeah, he's just assuming he's. Oh, that's why.
Yep, it was another Deathness Raptor. He recurred the old one back face down, actually, so he can block with this one, flip that one back up, and it's a 2-card recursion that he can keep going with.
Yes.
But as I stated, the Stratus Dancer is going to be way too good.
And Dragon Lord Ojutai, of course.
Yeah, he really needs to gain some life right here. If he doesn't gain any life right here, he's actually dead to the Ojutai Stratus Dancer.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, he couldn't find a land on the top of his library. He found a very good card, but...
Monstrous the Fleeceman land. Untap. And Max Brown has no cards in hand. He's drawing something, but I'm not exactly sure if it's enough.
And it looks like...
It looks like they're going to pack him up.
Yeah, he knows the Stratus Dancer's there, he knows the Ojutai's there. Even if the command would have come one turn, or one draw earlier, 290, that'd be good.
Oh, they've gotten there before.
Thank you guys for being so patient and tuning in again with us. Hopefully this will be the last of our technical difficulties and we'll be able to bring you that those top 8 matches without any problem.
So onto the sideboard of these two decks. On Austin Manziel's side, we have some Hidden Dragon Slayers, Valorous Stance, Surge of Righteousness, Ajani Steadfast, Inox Survivalist, Den Protector, Hornet Nest, Nisa Worldwaker, Arbor Colossus, Hornet Queen, and Dragonlord Dromoka. So I really like the Flyers in this matchup because neither side really has any good ways to deal with them. They're evasive, they can get through. Dragonlord Dromoka seems really cool. Hornet Queen's amazing. Arbor Colossus being able to handle opposing Dragonlord Ojutai.
Yes.
The Den Protector to give Austin some more of the recursion. And the Survivalist to be able to blow up Masteries and Coursers. Like, there's a lot of good cards in the sideboard.
It's definitely good. I think he should bring in the Den Protector since this is such a grindy matchup. He's going to want to have those types of recursion. He's going to want to get back cards and get a nice amount of value because you can see Max did that last game and it worked out very favorably for him. In Max's sideboard, he has 3 Disdainful Strokes, a Negate, 2 Glare of Heresy, 1 Valor Stance, 1 Elspeth, another Stratus Dancer, a Hidden Dragon Slayer, Ojutai's Command, a Plummet, and End Hostilities.
End Hostilities is probably a really good card to be starting on. Problem being, though, is the Whisperwood Elemental part.
Right.
So
that is true.
There's definitely another side to the story. I like the Ojutai's Command, too, because a lot of Austin's decks are creatures. You know what I mean? There's 6 non-creature spells in the main board of this deck. A couple of non-creatures in the sideboard. Ojutai's Command countering a creature spell would be really, really good for him.
It would be. You're absolutely correct.
Elspeth Sun's Champion. You know,
that's always good.
It's an end game card. It'll help you win games.
And it's really good because, as we spoke about earlier, they don't have a lot of reach. Elspeth is something that can gum up the board and get you there. So
yeah. I like the Glares as well as answers to problematic white permanents, Master of the Unseen being the biggest one for sure.
Of course.
You know, sideboard, there's like the Dragonlord Dromoka actually too. You can answer that. Max doesn't know it's coming, but you know, I want answers to Master of the Unseen. That's one of the cards that can just put games away, but Max has some natural play against it, having a lot of Dromoka's commands in his deck too. Interesting enough, Austin has 2 Dromoka's commands in the main board, and only 1 Inox Survivalist in the sideboard, so he's really only got 3 cards to deal with the problematic Master of the Unseen. So I think it's going to be a bit of an uphill battle for him in that field, but I think he's got some really good creatures coming out of the sideboard. I think, you know, if he gets a good draw, it could be a good game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw how close that last game was, and even though it seemed like Max was above and beyond, Austin like hung in it for a long time, and if you're looking for some of those better cards and you know that they're coming up, you don't know what will happen. So, and they are just shuffling up. We are getting ready to go to game 2.
Austin is going to be on the play in this game, which I think could be really, really big too. If you start off with an Elvish Mystic draw,
exactly.
it's a pretty good game.
I feel like any matches with Elvish Mystic, you really want to be on the play. Just that extra to get you.
Max looks like he's going to go back. That looked to me like I saw at least 5 lands in Max's hand. I'm not quite sure what else there was. It looked a pretty land heavy draw for sure.
It's hard to even keep 5 lands. That's even if your other 2 spells are really good.
I could see it because this is a bit more of a grindy matchup for sure. But there's a couple of draws that you can actually stone cold lose to.
Yes.
I mean, if you're relying on like Courser of Crufix to be able to try to filter you through lands, and Austin has a Valorous Stance or a Dramoka's Command, then it's pretty rough for you.
Yeah. Absolutely. There's a lot on the line for this match.
This is true.
This is for the Pro Tour.
This is top
really
8
for the
berth
invite.
right here.
I know.
These guys are battling right now.
This is real. It's come down to the 3rd game. This is their shot. This is their chance. Alright, so we'll see if he likes his 6 a little bit better than he liked his 7. See a Windswept Heath. I see a Courser, an Elvish Mystic. So that looks good. We don't have an Elvish Mystic on the side of Austin.
Max is going to go fetch, go to 19, and play that Mystic. He's also got the Courser of Crufix, so
he does have the Radical Mystic.
Going to be a very good draw, I think, for Max, if he can start getting some value out of his Courser.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to get to play that little draw for the turn. And he is not thinking about it. He is just playing the Courser.
That is really, really good right there. Drawing a Dramoka's Command is going to be really good for Max. It's going to allow him to do some fighting, kill some Master of the Unseens. It's a really good card to have in this matchup, I think.
Absolutely. It's very versatile, too.
Yeah, these decks are very, very similar, so being able to break up mirror matches like that, I think is really, really good. So I see a Courser of Crufix in Austin's hand as well, and I think that's where I want to go, but Austin seems to disagree. Ooh.
That's a pretty good.
That is very, very good in this matchup, I think. It's going to be one of those cards that's going to be pretty hard to get off the table without creating some hornets.
Without having a little bit of an issue there. Not that Austin is playing it, but I do like the little combo going around of roasting your own hornet's nest, like build your own hornet queen.
Yeah, I think there was the red green bees deck that was pretty popular at the Pro Tour. It just sounded so awesome. Somebody told me about it. They were like, roast my own hornet's nest, and then I can Concorda Calling for something. I was like, wow.
My little mind was blown. I was like, wow. It's good. It's pretty good.
I was excited to be able to do something like that, but it's going to be tough really getting this hornet's nest off the floor. Deathmist Raptor is a really good follow-up. Max only really playing a tapped land, passing the turn back. Draws a Fleece Mane Lion. On the top is another Deathmist Raptor. That's a pretty good draw for Max as well. And here's a Dragon Lord Ojutai.
So this we like. This is stuff we do like.
Yeah, I was wondering why we weren't trying to get the Hornet Nest off the table, and I can definitely see it now. The Ojutai, that's a 4-turn clock.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? If Austin can't find an answer to that card, it's over.
Yeah, meanwhile, exactly. He's going to be looking for his deck. He's going to be sculpting his hand. So.
Going to go with maybe Activation of Nykthos.
It does.
3, 4. Yep, Activation of Nykthos, getting 4 green mana, playing a Pelucranos.
Definitely.
That's a pretty good follow-up to the 5/4 for sure, but Max has the ability to gunk up the ground really well, especially with the Deathmist Raptor. You know,
absolutely.
He plays a land, gains a life. You know,
and
plays the
we're
Deathmist
getting in
Raptor.
with Ojutai.
Ooh, here's an attack.
Oh, decided his own attack.
Max is going through the motions right now.
And he says he is going to attack.
An attack is going to get the Ojutai trigger. He's going to find a land, Death Mist Raptor, and a Sylvan Caryatid. I'm going to put those two on the bottom, taking the Death Mist Raptor, revealing a Den Protector. So the gruesome twosome is back.
He's back. We're back in business. It's pretty nice. Put the Death Mist Raptor in the graveyard. Don't have to worry about it for too long. It's coming back.
Max is going to tap 3. Going for the Death Mist Raptor, I believe.
Yep.
It's going to hold off the Pelucanos really well. It's going to be pretty good.
Dragon Lord Ojutai is definitely something that Max has over Austin that I think is really good in this match and will dictate sort of how the game plays out. Something to be said though about Austin's is his deck is a lot more explosive with Nykthos. Like all of a sudden, before you know it, he has access to an insane amount of mana and can do some pretty crazy shenanigans with it.
This is very true. Ooh, Max is going to Dromoka's Command, taking out the Pelucanos with his Ojutai.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Wait. No, he fought the Death Mist Raptor to the Pelucanos, traded them, and put a counter on the Ojutai. That's weird. I guess doing that pre-combat might get in an extra point of damage, but I don't know how relevant that single point is. Maybe a little relevant now that we have a Courser on floor and a Mastery on top. He's going to go in with the Death Mist Raptor for 3 damage. But Max having his own Courser is definitely going to take care of some of this damage.
The Flooded Streams on top, he's going to play that, gain some. There's a forest on top, so he's going to crack that. He doesn't want that. He wants to see a nice live card that's going to affect the board in some way. So we're just waiting right now. We are in a lot of anticipation to see what's going to be on the top of his deck.
I'm also curious as to how Max plays his next line with a Den Protector in hand, and he really wants the Dromoka's Command to be able to get that Mastery that's coming off the table. He's got enough mana to be able to play it face down and then flip it up to get a Dromoka's Command.
And it looks like that painful card from last game is on top of the Fleeceman Lion? Or did it's the Fleeceman Lion, right? Yeah.
He is
And
taking the Fleeceman Lion with the Ojutai.
absolutely.
It's going to put him to 9 life.
Max's deck is very nice. He has a lot of foreign cards. Looks Korean.
Yes,
mostly.
the Mystics were Korean.
Yeah, the
Courser looks Japanese.
Coast I think is Korean. Or the temple.
Yeah. He plays Den Protector face down. He's definitely going to go for some value on this. He's probably going to wait for the Mastery of the Unseen draw. And then he's going to be able to flip it up, get back his Dromoka's Command, and be able to kill the Mastery of the Unseen, fight a creature, and get it off the table. Or maybe give his Ojutai another +1/+1 counter, making it a 7-power creature. Which, with that fetch land, is very close to dead.
He's getting in that dangerous territory.
Stays at 9.
Oh, right, because of course. No, he does, yeah, oh, wait, there it is. The basics are Portal 3 Kingdom on Max's side. Also very nice.
They're Chinese, by the way. I believe the Portal 3 Kingdom lands.
Yeah. That's pretty insane.
Even better, actually, because I have myself some Portal 3 Kingdom lands. Coincidentally, no forests.
Oh.
Plains, mountains, and islands, actually. Okay, so a Death Mist Raptor went to the graveyard for Max.
A Hornet
There are-
Queen was cast on Austin's side of the table.
Gotcha. 4 Hornets on the side. That's exactly what Austin needed to really push himself back in this game. And unluckily for Max, there's an answer to Hornet Queen on the top of the library, not where he needs it.
The good thing is that he's at a very high life total. He's not dead, so
But this is going to give Austin the chance to start pushing pressure back.
Right.
Because you don't ever want to trade your Ojutai with a 1/1 Hornet token, but you can leave one of the tokens back and be able to block with it for the rest of the
it's
game.
definitely not a good position. But we will see what Max can come up with to deal with these Hornet Queens. Looking at his deck list, I don't see too much.
So I think the only thing he can really try to come out of this, really getting rid of all the stuff, is probably just the end hostilities.
Yeah.
The Ojutai's command seems fairly underwhelming after the Hornet Queen's already resolved.
You really want it before. He's looking at his grip. Bluegranos is going to hit the table. And it looks like he's
He's got a monstrous policeman land.
He's missing, so no attacks from any of the Hornet Queen or any of the
That's very interesting.
Death Touch bees.
I think that's where you want to go. I think you definitely want to attack. You need to start putting pressure back, because if Max can find a trump to the Hornet Queen, there aren't many. But at this point, end hostilities won't kill your Fleecebane line, and you can start attacking for 4.
Yeah.
And we are just enraptured by this game. This is what happens when green and white decks play each other, I suppose.
So Valor's stance on the top of Max's deck, actually. That's
good.
The second mode on that is actually really relevant, but it also looks like Austin has one of his own in hand.
Oh.
Valor stance definitely coming in handy right now. I'm not quite sure what I would do with it if I was on Max's side, but Austin, I think I like firing it off at the Dragon Lord Ojutai.
Yeah, because then he can get in without any fear of one of them being removed. He can just go to town on them.
There's a Mastery of the Unseen for Austin. So at this point, we're pretty much even on both sides, minus the fact that Austin's flyers are a bit more spread out, and you can do a little bit more attacking with them.
Other than that, it is pretty gummed up, which is what we pretty much thought it was going to be, which is why we thought End Hostility would be really good for Max Brown. Currently, there is no Whisperwood Elemental, which is nice. However, there is the Mastery, so that can start making tokens if he doesn't have a way. I guess like his best option would be find a Dramoka's Command, which
I think he has one in hand.
Yeah, but
I believe he has a Dramoka's Command in his hand. He does.
Yeah, it's not as good as you would want here, though.
Yeah, I think Max is a couple of mana short. I think if he had a couple of more lands on the floor, he'd be able to Valor Stance the Dragon Lord and end hostilities and Dramoka's Command. So you'd be able to get a lot of stuff off the table.
Yeah, but he can't do it all. He's gonna have to take some. So he plays in more.
So Pelucranos went monstrous for what looks like 5. So there's a 10/10 Pelucranos.
It's a very big Pelucranos.
It's very hard to keep track of absolutely everything that's going on these boards.
There's so many,
because they're just flooded with permanents right now.
Absolutely.
He's still only getting in with 2 of the creatures. You definitely you have things that gum up the ground. So I'm attacking with everything except for one Hornet token, I think. I mean, that's the way that you win this game. Because if you let Max find a Master of the Unseen, then the 2 damage that you're doing per turn it's not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
Max drawing a Death Mist Raptor, revealing a Sylvan Caryatid.
It's not the most exciting card to see on top of his
looks
deck.
like he's got a Valorous Stance and Ojutai's Command, Dramoka's Command, Courser, and a Death Mist Raptor. He's going to pass with mana open.
I believe here Austin has the advantage. I don't think he's pushing it to
As far as he
could. I would be attacking with at least 3. If you're worried about a removal spell, then you can leave back 2. But at this point, Austin knows everything that's in Max's hand.
So
Courser.
I don't like trying to play around a removal spell in this deck right now because there are no really hard removal spells.
Right.
The only things you gotta think about are, say, Dramoka's Command or like
Right.
Valorous Stance. Valorous Stance doesn't do anything to any of your tokens.
Nope.
And the Dramoka's Command doesn't do anything either because that would be a trade.
Right.
But an indestructibility off of the Valorous Stance is good. But, you know what I mean, you're trading a card for a token at that point, and your Dragon Lord's still not getting through, getting you that card advantage.
Right, which I think if he's worried about that, then he can always leave 2 back. I don't see why he needs to leave 3 back. Maybe there's something I'm not seeing of why he's leaving 3 flyers back.
So, looks like we had a card flip up from Master of the Unseen. We have a
Gain a million life.
very high life total change here. And there's a Whisperwood on the floor and another one on the top of Austin's library. So it looks like we're going to... I believe he's going to fight the Whisperwood Elemental
Yeah.
here. Yep.
That's
He's
one of
gotta
those
get that
cards
off
where
the
you
floor.
have to get that off the table.
Max's life total is slowly draining right now. He really needs to find something to stem the bleeding currently.
Especially if his option is he's really hoping to find end hostilities. However, if there's a Whisperwood on the table, end hostilities is null and void. So he had to get the in every way you have to get the Whisperwood off the table.
Fair enough.
And here's where things start getting definitely different. Now that he has 2 coursers on the floor, the 2 damage that he's attacking the Hornets with is just going to be completely negated by the courser.
Accurate.
So this is why Austin really needed to have pushed more damage through with his Hornet Queen and tokens. So Max would be possibly even down towards to like 12 life, much lower life total.
Yeah. I mean, Austin's at 27, but Max is at 16. That's a lot of life to have to slug through on a board like this.
This is very true. And, you know, everything's being really incremental currently, other than Austin's life gain, which is through the roof currently.
Absolutely. Which, this is a pretty insane game.
Or is it 28? There's only 1 courser on the floor.
The communication has not been perfect between what they've done up in the front and what I get in the back, so I'm sorry about that.
It's like we're going to have a Nykthos activation. And
For just a bazillion mana, I think it's safe to say.
I agree. Ooh, that looks like a Sirach. No, Dragon Lord Dramoka. There it is.
Oh.
There's the big flyer that I was waiting for.
There's baby girl.
Luckily, Max has the answer to that card. He's got an Ojutai's Command in his hand, and if Max doesn't cast this right now, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Well, what are you gonna use Ojutai's Command for?
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're not gonna counter the big boss of this guy's deck, then what are you gonna use it for?
That's kind of what it is. It's like the big boss. Like, you made it through all these levels, so let's see if you can make it through this.
So
And Ojutai's commands is kind of like Max's way of saying, I'm just gonna take this side door. I'm not gonna go to the big boss. I'm gonna take this side door.
it resolved. Austin's moving to attackers. He's finally attacking with all of his Hornets. Now that he has the Dragonlord Dromoka back to block, he's pretty satisfied with going in with all his tokens.
Maybe we don't. Maybe there is not an Ojutai's command in his hand.
I'm 100% sure that is an Ojutai's command. The very left card.
Yeah.
That is it. Oh, Valor Stance. Okay.
That's good. Yeah.
So yeah, Valor Stancing Dragonlord at instant speed, but responding with his own Valor Stance, making it indestructible. You know what I mean? I don't know if Max knew that he was packing stances or not, or if he was playing around those, but
Oh, Dromoka can't be countered.
it's very true.
I will be honest. That is a card that I do not know.
That is-
that is not one that I expected to see.
That is 100% true. That is the line of text I think I overlooked the most on that card.
Oh, well, in that case, it's looking. I mean, it's already looking very bad for Max. But he had a shot here of finding a way to deal with the. If he could find a way to deal with the Hornet, the bees, then he had a chance. But it's looking really poor. Even before the Dromoka hits the table.
If you just look at the list, it's like there's no tendrils are corrupt. But I think it looks very good. I didn't ask you.
So, in a Johnny Steadfast on the top of Austin Manziel's deck, this is a card I'm always very curious about. I can't say it's the best in a grindy matchup like this, but where the board state gets really locked up, I think it's pretty good. You know what I mean? Especially with Death Touch on your side, like it gives first strike, so it's really really good with any of your Death Touch cards, and Lifelink and Vigilance as well. So you know the next turn when he draws a Johnny Steadfast, he's going to be able to give his Dragonlord Dromoka first strike, Lifelink, Vigilance,
Yeah.
and it's going to be really really good at that point. He's going to block with Dragonlord Ojutai. That is very interesting. It looks like Max is all in on his end hostilities at this point.
He kind of has to be. He absolutely has to be. I don't. He has to find end hostilities here.
He's got a couple of turns I think to try and find it. Maybe not even. That since Dragonlord's just really really large at this point. Doesn't have any ways on floor to block it.
Yeah.
Den Protector, flip up Den Protector. Yeah, so I think his only chance right now is to unmorph it, get back Dragonlord Ojutai and block.
Yep.
Oh, Valor Stance. Okay. So he goes for the Valor Stance back to his hand, and he can tap and cast it on the Dragonlord Dromoka, which is really good.
And he's just crossing his fingers. Well, he knows that Austin does not have another Valor Stance.
There's a couple other things that he could have done. I think I like. He's got a Dromoka's command in his hand, but he's already really far ahead, so he doesn't really need the life from the fight.
No, he doesn't.
And he's got the Hornet Queen still, so the Hornet Queen I still believe is lethal damage because he doesn't have any blockers for it.
It's just getting worse and worse. The only thing I can say is I definitely think that this game could have been over with a lot quicker than it was, just based on how many times the Austin attacked with the Hornet Queens. He definitely took a more conservative line of play, which is fair because as we can see, he's definitely not losing pretty much anyway. So.
I agree. I was just informed that these guys have gone to turns, and Austin is currently turn 1.
Oh my gosh. This is kind of what happens when they draw.
I'm waiting on what the final verdict is. I'm not sure if it's a full-out draw or if Max actually was able to sneak. Ooh. So it is a full-on draw.
Yeah, because
This is going to be pretty interesting in the standings, I believe.
Yeah, this is going to make some interesting things, and we do have the standings.
For the most part.
Yeah, it's not a.
With some inclusion of the last round, but missing this match and a few other matches. So it looks like John Delano is on top with 15 points. Max Brown, I believe, with this is still going to be able to draw in to top 8. Austin as well might be able to draw in. He's sitting at 9th with 12 points. If he gets another point, he bumps into 8th place. But if Craig Rocco were to win his match, Craig would pass Austin at 15 points. So there's definitely some minus and shaking to be going on.
Yeah, there's going to be some probably moving around for the standings.
Okay, so I guess what Austin did to win that game is he minus the Johnny, putting a +1/+1 counter on all of his other creatures. That's definitely enough to win the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alright.
So it looks like. So we can't give you the top 8 just yet because we need to do some. It needs to. Like all the breakers need to go in and all that good stuff.
So we see some of the sideboard cards that they used. Odrutai's Command, End Hostilities, Elspeth, Hidden Dragon Slayer I really like. It's
We
the 2-for-1
gotten a
cards.
chance to see that card cast.
I really like Hidden Dragon Slayer.
It was in so many decks that we saw today, and
it's one of those cards that first format Dragons of Tarkir, I really wanted to play like an Abzan mid-range deck, but with Hidden Dragon Slayer as my quote-unquote fleece main line of the deck, because I can flip it up and kill Siege Rhinos, and I can still be able to attack through other cards, trade with other fleece main lions. The biggest problem being is like coursers. It's really hard to deal with coursers, but it's also really good against the mono red decks, being able to block, gain 2 life, being able to get to the later game where I can play my Siege Rhinos and Elspeths and stuff. But I stumbled upon Gerard Fabiano's Jund list, and I fell in love, and I haven't turned back.
You've never looked back. That's true love. So the lucky part about this is because it went to turns, we should be moving into the top 8 very shortly.
So most of the other rounds finished up, and they're just going to try to get these results and move into the top 8, and we are going to let you guys know what that looks like.
It hasn't been announced yet officially, but you can look at it right now.
So we have the unofficial top 8 results. It is...
Ouch. No.
So if this is official, we're pretty sad, but we have some bad news for some of the fans of this stream.
Official just unannounced.
Okay, so according to this paperwork, Max Brown is bumped out of top 8 by 1% tiebreakers.
Nothing feels worse than breakers determining whether or not you can go to the Pro Tour.
Well, they still have to play one more round.
Oh, it's one more round?
Yeah,
because
they have to play the top 8.
Right. So he wasn't
yeah.
guaranteed. So there is that. There he can
But
find some solace in that.
Max Brown's a pretty solid player.
Yeah,
a lot of people know. He won a Grand Prix before with Mono Black Devotion.
Although this is something, yeah, definitely. He top-8'd the Invitational in Vegas, if anybody remembers that, also with Mono Black Devotion. Unfortunately, this is kind of what happens sometimes when you choose to play decks like this. If you don't come prepared to be able to beat another deck like this, these games went on for insane. As you can see, they barely were able to finish 2 games.
Yep.
This is kind of like the thing. It's one of those things where it's like, if you play control, you better be ready to be the control player. You have to play quick. You have to make your decisions really fast, and you have to be able to get in those points of damage to win. So it's
Alright,
really
so
unfortunate.
switch back to us. So we're gonna have the top 8 announcement for you guys. In first place with 15 points is John Delano.
In second place is going to be Max Mitchell.
Third place is Dan Ward with 14 points.
In fourth place is Paul Lienhart.
In fifth place is Ian Barber.
In sixth place is Jason LeMay.
Seventh place is Michael Durzo.
And in eighth place, Austin Mansell.
Okay.
With Max Brown being our bubble boy.
Ah, that's right. Max won an invitational.
He won the invitational in
Yes,
Vegas. Yeah.
with the mono black devotion.
Yep.
That's right. All right. I feel bad for Max Brown. I think he's a pretty good guy.
That was
getting
really-
knocked out
that
in breakers.
hurt.
That's definitely rough. It happens from time to time. But I know Max. He's a really good Magic player. He'll probably be back on the tour.
I'm sure he will queue.
Yeah. For sure.
For those in the chat, Max Brown, they drew. They were 1-1. Neither player won.
Yeah. The top 8 is actually really, really good. There's some really, really, really good names in the top 8. John Delano, Max Mitchell, Dan Ward. You know, there's some really good.
All
guys
of these
out there.
players would be great on the Pro Tour.
Okay. So we're getting the top 8 announcement right now, and we are going to have the top 8 rounds as soon as we possibly can. From what I've been told, they're only going to play 1 round because after that, the top 4 is announced, and that's all they need to do to qualify for the Pro Tour.
This is very weird in that regard. We don't have to have a winner. All 4 get to be the ultimate winner.
It's definitely weird. I've been to many PTQs in my day, and being that one guy is probably a great feeling, but not having to win the tournament anymore is probably really nice too.
Yeah.